welcome back. It's the next segment here. We have John Aisha from Maverick, a tech data group company. And we're here in Barcelona, beautiful weather. Unfortunately, that won't be the case when we're here next time for ISE in February. But it's a beautiful day, and we want to talk a little bit about the distribution business because life we're in a new normal, and life has changed a lot. So, John, how is your life, your work with tech data, with all your customers out there? How has it changed, and how is the business doing in Spain, Iberian Island, as well as in the European scale?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Florian, for having me here. Well, as everybody, has not been easy. It's been probably one of the 4 very tough months, for everybody. The lockdown now it's over, the sunshine again. But especially, I think for the AV industry, not just in Spain. We've seen that in Europe has been tough. Most of the AV equipment goes to schools, to corporate environments, and to retail, and those 3 environments were closed, and that has an impact, On the good side, we are now seeing quick recoveries in some of the areas. For example, companies are investing now in infrastructure to really explode the remote participants, which is good. Also, we see that the schools are investing in technology, which means that they will need AV in the classrooms to have this dual learning. And in retail, most of what we see is all these new concepts, in the market, things like temperature check, capacity management. So we have seen now many of these solutions into the market.
But there's still a lot of room of improvement because walking around here in Barcelona, you see a lot of people counting, but it's all manually. It's not funky with sensors or so. But we saw one in Fnac, the big consumer electronics store. They had a big screen there. You could see how many people were inside and everything. So it was quite cool. Talking about distribution in general. You're very big in smart boards and in all different forms of AVs, but LED is very different because LED it's not a display, it's not a finished product, it's not something you take the package, install it, and it's. So what are the challenges in LED distribution?
Yeah, it's a challenge, it's true. But we are in the perfect storm. So there is an increase in the demand. So we have seen now most of the shops in the main streets in Barcelona, they have LED, which means that there are more customers interested. There is a price drop, which also generates more demand, but also there is a margin shrinks. And all these things together are making the LED business interesting for many companies. So also the traditional LFD brands, they are pushing really hard, launching also this type of product range. And from a distribution point of view, we need to face those problems and trying to solve it. So more beyond the financial and the logistic capacity that we have, we are also thinking how we can support the channel to embrace projects without having the problems of an LED installation.
Is it a trend across Europe, or you see LED more popular in Spain or in UK or so, or is it a trend which you say it's quite standard?
It's quite linear, and of course some countries are leading the way. Germany, UK, France are countries where there is already big investments in LED. But funny enough, after the lockdowns, the first projects we've seen are LED projects in a country like Spain, where we were supposed to have a huge impact in the economy. So I think it's good. It's good because probably the companies are investing in flagships to have this the customer engage again, and this is how we think they are now preparing, planning the projects.
Do you think most integrators are really able to sell LED? Or is it too difficult for them, too different to the standardized display business?
Well, it's difficult. There is no standard, and that's a critical point. So, because what the worst thing, and it happened few years ago with the video walls, and you can have an installation, but if it's not working properly, the final objective, the final goal is not achieved. So that's why it's so important to have a channel that is trained, they have the right skill sets, and this is a challenge for the companies to find and train the right integrators, and they should also invest in people with the right skill set, to do proper installation. That's critical.
Thank you. That was a short insight into the distribution market, LED, and we are back from Barcelona in a few minutes.